Hello and welcome. Many years ago, Honda announced that they were going to develop a pickup truck. And then they revealed it at the North American International Auto Show. I remember seeing the concept truck thinking, all right, not bad, it looks good. They'll probably make some changes. And then it went into production. And it was quite close to what the concept vehicle looked like. And it received mixed feelings and reviews when it first came out. I remember some people immediately thinking, it was ugly, it wasn't a real truck, and some people looked at it and said, okay, that's nice, that's different. I personally wasn't too fond of it when I first saw it. That rear design, especially that they called the flying buttress design, I wasn't very fond of. It also made it difficult to reach over the side into the bed if you have anything in there. But I knew somebody who owned one, and they swore by it. They said it was all the truck for everyday use that they needed. They didn't need something that could tow thousands of pounds. They didn't need something that was any bigger. For what they used it and what they needed it for, that was plenty. A few years go by and the second generation is introduced. I remember seeing it for the first time and thinking, okay, that looks a little bit more like what we're used to. And a friend of mine shows up to my house in one of them. And I immediately told him, that's not a real truck. Why didn't you buy something else? Why didn't you buy one of the other pickups on the market? So he began to plead his case and explain to me why. The practicality, the gas mileage, the reliability, versatility, and he began to make sense. And then he told me, let's go for a ride. So I went for a ride. He let me drive it, and I was impressed. I liked the way it drove. I liked the way it felt. It's not a slouch. It's got plenty of power. And I began to think to myself, oh wow, this thing does make sense. If you don't need anything bigger, if you don't need to tow more than 5,000 pounds, which many people who like the idea of having a pickup truck don't need to tow that much, this makes sense. A couple of more years go by and my daughter is born, and after leaving the hospital in my car at that time, all I could see was truck bumper from my windows, and I began to seriously consider getting something higher up, an SUV or a pickup. I went and looked at a few SUVs, and I also looked at a few mid-size pickup trucks. The GM Twins were nice, but a little pricey and a little narrow. Same issue with the Ranger. The Ranger also is quite tight on the inside. I was practically bumping elbows with the salesman while I was driving. And while I do like the Frontier, I am not willing to spend my hard-earned money on something that is old enough to have its own driver's license. That truck's been around for a while and desperately needs a refresh. So I wound up looking at the Ridgeline. I went for another test drive in one. I looked at it, checked it out, and came to the conclusion that For what it is and what I need, this was the best choice. So I bought one. Even though I never thought I would, I did. And 10,000 miles in, almost a year later, and I can say I'm happy with my choice. It's not the fastest truck, it's not the biggest, but it covers so many bases so well. It's all the truck that I need. Versatility. It has to be one of the most versatile pickups I've ever seen on the market. It does things that no other truck in its class does. It combines the best of an everyday driver with a pickup truck. You've got a bed that is 50 inches wide, so yes, you can fit 4x8 sheets of whatever have you in the back. It has a trunk in the bed that you can fit things in, as well as use as a cooler. It has room for 5 comfortably. You can fold up the rear seat and fit a mountain bike in there. My friend who has one does all the time. Flips up the seats and get his mountain bike in there without having to take the wheel off. No need for a bike rack if it's just one bike. And it's easy to drive every day. It's also very maneuverable. It's not big or as big as other trucks. I was going out to visit my father one day, and the car in front of me swerved to the right. I couldn't swerve to the right because there was a car next to me, and to my left was the median. And there was a construction barrel, dead center. I was able to swerve around it without hitting it or the wall or any other car. And I immediately commented to my wife, who was with me, saying, if I was driving anything bigger, I so would have drilled that barrel. I would have had no choice. Most importantly of all, though, it's got VTEC. For 4,500 pounds, it sure does get up and go. It has a certain stigma that comes with it. However, if you're an adult, it's not going to bother you that you're not going to be part of some special group because you drive a Ridgeline. It doesn't have the towing capacity that some other trucks, even in its class, have. Now, if you need to tow more than 5,000 pounds on the regular, this is not the truck for you, flat out. If you need to haul more than, I believe it's some 1,500 pounds almost of payload, this is not the truck for you. I would like to have had some kind of manual mode with either shifters or, some kind of manumatic system. It could do with a little bit of a more truck-like front end. It is a little soft. However, if that's the trade-off for better fuel economy, then so be it. Because as far as fuel economy goes, I average 23, 24 mixed of city and highway. And on the highway, long distance, I've seen as high as 27.5, 28. It's not bad for a pickup. The best I saw in my brother-in-law's F-150 when I drove it for 6 weeks was 21. And that was with the 2.7 EcoBoost. I wish it did have the power folding mirrors and the rear heated seats. Those are items only available on the Canadian model for some reason. I do wish it had a physical power and volume knob, because something tells me at some point in the near future, hopefully not, but the power button, the touch power button, is going to go bad, and I'm not going to be able to turn the radio on. For the average person who just needs a pickup for the practicality and the use, for that odd trip to Lowe's, Home Depot, whatever have you, this truck fits the bill and fits it well. Would I recommend this to a friend? If they just need something that they can use on the daily, that's versatile and can do many things very well, then yes, absolutely, wholeheartedly, I would recommend this truck to anybody.